Hey Frag fam, what is going on? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to the Fragrance Wheel. An exciting video for you guys today. We got some new fragrances from the house of Savoir Faire. Look, I got the little card here. I've actually had these samples from the fragrance house for like a week and a half. I've been sitting on them. I've just been too busy to get to them, but we're going to go ahead and do that today. So 3 new releases all at once. You've seen me talk about the house of Savoir Faire on this channel if you've been watching me for some time, and I really like this house. Matter of fact, I like indie houses in general because they have a distinct advantage over your more established fragrance houses, and that is they can kind of take any direction they want. They can take more risk if they're willing to or want to. And that just gives them the benefit of being more unique than your typical larger house release. You know, a lot of times we get releases from your larger, more established houses, and they're kind of redundant in the grand scheme of things. I find that that tends to happen less often with an indie fragrance house, especially one that you've discovered and you like what they put out, etc., etc. Anyway, 3 new fragrances from this house. I do kind of know the background on it, but I'm just going to focus on the smell today. You can go to the fragrance website and read up on the story and inspiration behind them, which is cool if you would like. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. But before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and please hit that bell icon, enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And these fragrances are officially live on the website, so I will leave links down in the description below if you want to check them out. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so I'm just going to go at these. I don't know what order they're in. They come in these nice little 10 milliliter boxes here, and they're not labeled on the outside. So I'm just going to pop one open, and we're just going to go right into it, see which one it is. Let's see here. This is Italiano Africano. So there's the bottle there. Hopefully you can kind of see that. Pretty good, 10 milliliter bottle if, you want to try them out. And I got like notes on the back, so we'll go to that once I smell it. By the way, I did buy these. These were not sent to me by the brand. So I did purchase these samples, but I was going to do it anyway because I really like what this brand puts out. So go ahead and get a couple sprays on there. Okay, does this you see how that got that little color thing? Does this actually reveal something? Am I even supposed to spray the fragrance on this? Oh, it does. It reveals like a little picture. Okay, that's neat. Yeah, that's some cool presentation stuff. That is dope there. I like that. Also, this brand is improving its presentation, so I can always appreciate that. All right, smell. Let's go right into it. Get some little wafts there. Well, with a name like Italiano, you probably expect maybe there's some Italian like citrus or herbaceous nature to it or something of that nature. And I do feel like I get that. It does kind of have that bright Sicilian lemon like smell to it. I do get maybe some herbaceous or aromatic like notes. This one is citrusy, kind of clean, a little bit zingy. There may be some woody or musky elements in there to just give it a little bit of a earthier grounding. This is nice. This kind of has a little bit of a mass appeal kind of thing to it, where if you like fresh herbaceous fragrances or fragrances with some aromatic touches to it, you would have no reason to like this. No reason to not like this. It's kind of reminding me of an offshoot, if I had to compare it to something, an offshoot to what you maybe get from something like Cedrat Boisé from Mancera. I'm not saying this smells like that. It's just putting me in that mindset of that style of fragrance. I think this is something anybody could rock if you just want, a good citrusy, clean fragrance. Real quick, let me just kind of see what the notes. What was this one again? Italiano Africano. So if we look at the notes, we got clementine, green mandarin, Sichuan pepper, neroli, jasmine, rose, grapefruit, bergamot, ginger, oud, vetiver, timur pepper. I actually don't know what that is. Frankincense, blood orange, and basil. So you can see there's a lot of citrusy notes. There's some fresher, spicy notes. You got stuff like incense in there. So the oud and vetiver, that may be, if there's meant to be like a clear experience with the oud like notes, it may come out later or it may come out on skin. Just because oud's in some doesn't necessarily mean you're going to automatically smell that oud like funky smell. People tend to, I think, make that mistake. I'm certainly guilty of doing that as well. The vetiver makes sense. Vetiver certainly makes sense. This does have a fresh, earthy, herbaceous, maybe even grassy kind of smell to it. But you see all those citrusy notes, that is well represented in this fragrance. I think the neroli makes sense too, because overall I am getting this kind of cleanly nature. I think neroli can come across a little bit soapy sometimes. And this also, I don't feel is too strong on neroli. Some people maybe find heavy neroli to be a little bit much. I don't feel like it's too much in the scent. That's dope. I got no problem with that. Again, that is Italiano Africano. So we'll go ahead and put that to the side and just go ahead and move on to the next one. And let's see what this one is. Pop it open. Okay, so the next one is Auratory. I'll show you guys the little thing there. Auratory. So go ahead and spray this on this little cool sample card. That is a cool idea where it actually reveals like a photo once you spray it on the card. Of course, you have to spray it a ton to get it, but nothing wrong with that. All right, Auratory. So right off the bat with this one, I'm feeling like I may be getting something that's giving me floral fruitiness to an extent. I would say there's definitely some sweeter elements to this one. Maybe even some leathery notes. I like this one as well. So far, both of these I feel like have elements of mass appeal to them, but they don't necessarily smell like everything that's already out there, which is always going to get high marks from me. Right off the bat, just, my mind just kind of pulling from its scent memory. I'm getting slight similarities to Azzaro's Forever Wanted, only because I get this slight leathery, sweet kind of thing going on with fruity touches. That fragrance is very sweet and leathery with this kind of raspberry thing going on. I get a similar experience to that. I even also kind of get some similarities, again, this is just from my scent memory, from Invictus Parfum from Paco Rabanne. So this is just kind of putting me in that mindset. But overall, I would say there's fruity notes, some floral essences, and I'm getting some sweet things with some leathery influences. But let's see what the notes are. Again, this one here is Auratory. So we got Gaiac wood, patchouli, grapefruit, violet, blood orange, sandalwood, bergamot, orris, resinoid, aquatic accord, cypriol heart, musk, amber, and Haitian vetiver. Again, this is good. This is good. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. So far from what I've smelled from Savoir Faire, which has not been everything, there's not been one fragrance I've necessarily been disappointed with. And the majority of the fragrances I own were blind buys. I guess I just got lucky. Again, you wouldn't necessarily suggest that, but the fragrances I did buy that were blind buys, I heard a lot of explanations from people that I think know what they're doing in terms of explaining fragrances about those scents. So I didn't just grab them just because. But these are nice, and Auratory is a good one too. Again, I feel like it has elements of a mass appealing, maybe less so than the last one, the Italiano Africano, but still just really, really good. Again, Chris Classic does great work with these fragrances. I don't feel like he puts out anything lightly. He does put a lot of effort into what he releases, and I think it shows in the releases themselves. So let's go ahead and go over to the last one. Which would be, I can just look at the name. This one's going to be Khemetry. Get it out of there. So there's that one there, Khemetry. And pull that off. Spray this one down. All right, Khemetry. All right, so this one here, out of the three, the least mass appealing, but not difficult or anything. I think this one's just a little bit more specific, and you have to like fragrances like this. So I feel with this one, maybe there's heavier use of incensey notes, resins. It still kind of overall has a freshness to it, but it does have this, I think it's just a play on different forms of incense. It just has that feel to it. Has a little bit of this, I don't know how to describe it, to be honest. Sorry, I just dropped the cap. Sorry about the noise. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like I've smelled something like this in maybe a spa-like environment, but I can't say where. but this just has that essence to it. Again, I just feel like this one is definitely using a lot of incensing notes. There may also be some, I don't know, some orange-like flavorings there. Maybe even orange blossom is hiding in there. I imagine there's probably some, grounded, woody-like notes with this. Something is making me want to say leathery, but I don't think it's leathery. I just think there's incensing notes that are coming across in that way. Of course, I could be totally wrong. What are the notes listed? Khemetry. So we got sandalwood with this one, Moroccan cedar, Kenyan frankincense, rose, myrrh, African blue lotus. That's something I have no idea what that would be like. Clove, that one makes sense. Spice accord, green cardamom, also makes sense. Vanilla, black pepper, original Egyptian musk. Original Egyptian musk. I remember seeing like a promo video of the house owner and perfumer kind of talking about these. He was talking about that whole original Egyptian musk thing. I think that was something that was like popular at a certain point in certain subsets of those who like to smell good at a certain time. That's not something I have experience with, to be honest, so I can't speak to that. But I guess he was, putting his own spin on it with this fragrance. I'll tell you what, though, I like this. I do feel like this one out of the three is going to be more appealing to a more niche audience, but I like it. I like all three of these. I think these are all three good fragrances. I can tell you right now, based off of smelling these, the one that's going to have the most mass appeal is going to be the Italiano Africano, in my opinion. That one has that clean citrus that doesn't smell like cleaner. It's got the mass appeal in terms of it just kind of smelling fresh and clean and being appealing. And then to a slightly lesser degree, Auratory, a little bit more play on some florals and some fruitier notes. And then Khemetry is very incense dominant. And of course, I'm smelling all of these off of a strip. Because I have these large 10 milliliter bottles, I'm definitely going to wear them over the next coming days, and probably, I don't know, I might get all three. Who knows? I might get all three of them, but I'll check them out a little bit more intently. I don't know if I'm going to do a full review on them. I kind of like to just do first impressions for the most part. But if you guys, any of you guys have checked out these fragrances up to this point, let me know what you think of them, and down in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think of these fragrances. I think, oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned the name of the series for these three is called the Crownstones. The last three he released last year was the Dope Florals collection. I thought three of those were great. I ended up buying one of them. These three I think are also really, really good. And it's something completely different from the last releases, which again is the benefit of great indie houses, in my opinion. I think they can take steps that are drastic and don't necessarily have to follow trends. And I can tell you right now, these three fragrances do not necessarily follow trends, which is awesome. So if you want something, a little bit of a unique experience, check out these samples from these fragrances. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. So thanks again for watching all the way into the end. I really do appreciate you all. Please remember to be well and smell well. And I'll see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.